Oh, the year was 1778. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. A letter of marque came from the king to the scummiest vessel I...
Welcome to the Wildcast Podcast, coming to you from Wildcast Studios, with your hosts Adam Lund and Jeremy Boucher.
Welcome into Wildcast Studios for the final draft preview episode of the Wildcast Podcast, your unofficial voice for all things Moncton Wildcats, once again presented by Alpha's Appliance Solutions, your biggest Maytag dealer east of Montreal. Right now, they got the Maytag Dependable Savings Event. Save $200 when you purchase any 2 qualified Maytag appliances. Save $300 when you purchase any 3 or more Maytag kitchen appliances. Qualifying purchases made now between June 1st and June 23rd. As always, fan listeners, I am your host, Adam Lund, and I am joined by everyone's favorite co-hoster, Mr. Mock Draft, Mr. Jeremy Boucher. We are 3 days away, buddy. 3 days away from an in-person draft. How you feeling?
What up, what up, what up?
That means good.
This is, very exciting. The phones are ringing.
Oh, are they ever?
The DMs are coming in.
Yeah.
And we're prepared. We've got a big show lined up, and we're going to do our annual mock draft, in which I won the rights to the first overall pick by, I believe, a landslide.
64%, I do believe.
So there you go. So we've got that coming up a little bit, and we got a special guest. And it's going to be a fun show. Probably one of my favorite episodes of the entire podcast season.
Yep. Yeah, this is you're built for this mock draft stuff. I just use the tools I've been given in my one annual viewing of these draft picks, solutions, or players, not solutions. Draft I was reading something else. Draft picks, kids. And you crush this every year. We'll have to see how many we got right. I didn't look into it last year, but I think we only got Thomas Lavoie and Gabriel Dag we got correct. And I think we got Julian Lantern to Baie-Comeau correct.
Okay.
I believe we did.
Yeah. So when we talk about correct, you mean like the right player at the right team?
Yeah, the right player, the right team.
Okay.
It's going to be a fun week. So some big news. You guys saw us tweet out the John Cena Never Give Up, the Instagram Never Give Up. We have been accepted as media at the Quebec draft. So we are going to be on the floor giving you analysis and getting you interviews from the Wildcats that are selected, as well as maybe a couple other players that are selected. But big thanks to Maxime for giving us this opportunity. And I was really worried when it wasn't coming through and wondering. And I'm like, he's in Kamloops working hard. He's just working. He's going to get to it just before the draft. And I was already pumped to go to Quebec, go to Sherbrooke for the draft again. But to get this and to be able to give a different viewpoint of our analysis and kind of take this up a notch and really put on our business attire. This is a business trip for us now and prove that maybe, hey, we are worth being accredited media to bring coverage.
Yeah, 100%. There will not be any 2-liter bottles of hard apple cider consumed on Friday night before the draft. Let's put it that way. Yeah. Gotta stay professional here. But once we're at where we staying, let's call it the Love Shack, the Sherbrooke Love Shack, and once we're settled in there, and we've got the gentleman joining us Friday night for a quick little live.
We will be professional by the time we get there.
100%. Though there will be some beverages consumed on Friday night. But personally, I will not be taking it to the same level as I did in Quebec in 2019.
Yeah, I still get a few messages of my favorite part about your guys' Friday night media roundtable was Jeremy just randomly chiming in with random things at random times. And I was like, yep, that was 2 bottles of cider.
4 liters of hard apple cider.
Oh, that was... that was in the time where I was pretty good at hosting and keeping shows on the rails, and I'm trying to direct, and you're just like, this other we're trying to do this, trying to be legit. We got the Raptors on, and you're just like, you suck. Like just random times. But yeah, we are doing another media roundtable. At, I guess, the Sherbrooke Love Shack that we rented a house, which basically was the same price of a hotel.
Yeah.
So we rented a full-on house. We're going to have Jamie Tozer of Station Nation. We're going to have Pat McNeil of the Cape Breton Eagles. We're going to have Mavs join us. So we're going to be live on YouTube around 9:30 Atlantic time, 8:30. And then Saturday morning, round one, we're going to attempt to go live. We're going to attempt to show the draft and have our analysis throughout round one. Because that's all we really have the tools and analysis for. B, we're not talking through 14 rounds of the draft without being paid for it. Absolutely not.
Will we even be there for the entire 14 rounds? Like,
we were last time.
really?
Oh, yeah, we were there. Yep, we were there because we interviewed Zach LaRue as we left, and you met his grandmother and his
That's
parents.
true.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. The beers were cold.
The beers were cold.
The next morning too at the Videotron Center. But again, that's another thing I'll have to not consume is the 10 a.m. beers at the
No, we're
once we
gonna
get
be,
into the doors and
We're going to be consuming a lot of water.
as
we
and
talk
I
through
will
this.
say I'm pretty fired up for these.
Oh, yeah.
First, these are lunch boxes
Yeah.
that they're giving the
That is true.
media.
I was like, I just want the media passes to be able to interview like the first overall pick and this player and
I
maybe
want the
Zach
lunchbox,
Wheeler where he
man.
goes. And this guy over here is going, I just want the media lunchbox, bro.
I've got high expectations on this. If I'm not impressed with this lunchbox, I'm giving the Palais de Sport Leopold Drolet a 1-star review on Google.
Yeah. Oh boy, that's high expectations for him. But yeah, I mean, you guys were there on our coverage on Instagram about a year ago, or not a year ago. That's crazy though. In 2019, and I'm just excited to bring a different level of analysis to this thing. So this is a special time. So stay tuned to all of our social medias: Twitter, Moncton Wildcast; Instagram, Wildcast Podcast; TikTok. We're gonna have a few TikToks, including a Mr. Puffs reveal slash
yes critique.
Maybe some poutine reviews, although you're not going to go with an over-under of 4 again like
No,
last time,
no,
which you
no.
did go over, and there was a few that said you'd go over.
My goal is to there's 3 establishments I do want to eat at.
Yeah.
So obviously one's Mr. Puffs,
That will be Friday
which
night.
I think we'll get into Friday night.
Yep.
And if there's time, that TikTok I sent you, that place in Sherbrooke with like 117 different poutines.
Yep.
And then obviously the Cajou Sport, which is like a Quebec chain of sports bars.
Yeah.
Very very well known in Quebec. So I know the time's going to be limited, but I
We'll
think
make it
I can
happen.
maybe pass on the poutine place because the Cajou Sport is just like it's a staple in Quebec for sports bars. So
And then we'll have breakfast at the Excellent, where Layla and I had breakfast the next day, which
I'm
was...
saving myself for Chick-fil-A in Bangor.
Oh, well, that's lunch. Yeah. That's
If I'm getting Chick-fil-A or Chipotle or any of those
something American.
chains that we can't find here,
Yeah.
I'm not eating breakfast. Like I'll have my
That's fair.
Gatorade and my Tylenol,
Yeah.
and because once the draft's over, you can let loose a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'll have my Gatorade, my Tylenol Sunday morning, and by the time we get to Bangor and
You'll be awake and hungover, and away we go.
checking out the gun section at the Walmart.
Yes, it's going to be a good... Seriously, stay tuned to our social medias. It's going to be unbelievable. We'll be back to posting TikToks. I'm not going to lie. I've kind of been... Thought about putting a couple from our show last week and trying to make other ones. I'm like, I had 1.3 million. Like, I'm literally intimidated to make another one. I know that I'm never going to get there again, and I'm just like... The bar is high, and I'm just like, I don't... You get that little taste, and you're like, well, I don't want to go back to 400 views. But we'll definitely see. Quick question, real quick for you there, sir. Draft was in Quebec in 2019. It was in Charlottetown in 2018. It's in Sherbrooke again, which it was supposed to be in 2020, so they went back there. Fine. Where do you want the QMJHL draft to be next year? Because it won't be Moncton.
Well, you never know.
Well, with the top prospects and a chance at the Memorial Cup, I doubt it'll be Moncton. But
it'd be
where
nice
would
if
you
it
like
was
to go?
a place where a place I've never been to, but I've always wanted to go to is Sydney, Center 200.
Yep.
In Sydney, which would be really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And Charlottetown. The draft in Charlottetown was unbelievable. There was just because you got to look at everything. You got to look at, how many people you think will actually go, but the food scene as well. Like you went to. Funny part was,
Did you go to the Frosty Treat? The best thing to come out of
the Frosty Treat.
Kensington
Well, that's it. You know, anytime you go to the island, you got to go to the Frosty Treat.
Yeah.
Get some deep fried Mars bar.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of options. Food scene in Charlottetown's unbelievable. I've never been to Sydney before, so I'd love to go there. And
you also have to go to Summerside Diner if you go to PEI.
Granville Street Diner. Yeah.
Oh, I always called Summerside.
But no, I'm hoping it's back in the Maritimes. As much as I love the drives to Quebec, it would be nice to be able to get to somewhere where you can literally be there within 5 hours. You know, it's fortunately the driving from Moncton to Sherbrooke is a lot shorter if you go through the States, which is what we're going to be doing because, going up towards Edmonton and down and then across, it's like 9 hours. Yeah. No, thanks. No, it's going to be fun. I'd love to see Charlottetown, love to see Sydney. Obviously, St. John had it in 2016. Halifax, I can't remember the last time Halifax hosted a draft. So, there's... as long as it's not in Rouyn-Noranda, as much as I'd love to get to that restaurant, the Poutine restaurant across from the rink.
If I'm going to Rouyn-Noranda, I want to go there for a couple hockey games.
24-hour drive to get to a draft. I don't think I'd probably pass on that one.
Look, we're committed, but that would test our commitment to...
We'd be leaving on a Thursday. If
minimum.
Probably fly there.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I was hoping it was going to be Sydney this year. Because I've never been there. I always wanted to go there, and I don't want to say this is bad, but I'm not just going to go to Sydney.
Right.
Like, I'm going to go there with an event in mind, or no offense, Pat, I'll come visit you. But like the Wildcats, and every time there's a schedule and it comes out, they play on a Wednesday or they play in the middle of January or whatever, which this will tie into here in a minute. But Sydney would be cool. Yeah, I think I like this. Like, I'd like to go to the smaller venues. Like, Quebec was cool for my first one. It was a big venue. Never been to the city of Videotron. But I think this one will be just different because it'll be a smaller rink. It'll be tighter packed. It'll feel bigger, feel fuller, feel louder. So all those kind of smaller rinks. Baie-Comeau, would love to see that rink, not for a hockey game, so I can make it out of there live, but to kind of see it there for a draft. Let's get some news and notes from around the cube.
News and notes from around the queue.
Back to back. Memorial Cup champions, the Quebec Remparts, and former Wildcat Thomas Darcy are Memorial Cup champions. A lot of people picked Seattle, us included. I didn't. I picked Seattle, yes. But as the tournament went on, I was like...
Peterborough.
No, I picked Peterborough and Seattle. Seattle to beat Peterborough. I didn't pick Peterborough to win. God, no.
Oh, okay.
No, my tournament bracket was Seattle was going to get the final.
Gotcha.
Quebec and Peterborough were going to play in the semi, and it was just going to be one of those nights where Peterborough, just everything was going right for them, and then Seattle was going to pump them.
Gotcha. Okay. I thought you picked Peterborough to win it.
Okay. No. Okay. I don't think a lot of people that predicted Quebec or thought Quebec after they beat Seattle the first time were going to dominate them like they did. Yeah. And there's a big difference when your team is full of stars like Seattle, who played really well, and I think they were only shut out once all year, and a team of a lot of stars and really good players. Character and pull the wagon together. They all knew their roles. Yep. They all bought in, and I think it kind of goes back to the way they were built. And some people on Twitter were like, well, they made one trade at the trade deadline because they don't really know how the Q trade deadline works. But they brought in Robidas, Agostino, Darcy, Langlois, which other than Robidas aren't major stars in this league. Now, Agostino won last year. Langlois and Darcy help fit your defense the way they are. But they drafted and developed guys that had been there for a few years and knew what it took and knew what Patrick Roy wanted. And they were all pulling the wagon the same way. They all bought in, and they were just dominant.
Yep, 100%. It was just what Quebec accomplished from game one of round one all the way to Sunday night was incredible. You know, I think they only lost 3 games. You know, the entire playoffs. They lost 2 to Halifax, and then lost to Peterborough, where they probably sat half their players. And I was concerned about Quebec. You know, that's that break from that the game Tuesday night all the way to Sunday. It's 4 days off,
Yep.
right? You don't even, there's sometimes you don't even get 4 days off during the season, and that's what I thought maybe Seattle would take advantage of, but it was just a complete domination by the Remparts, and now we wait to see what's next for Patrick Waugh. But man, I think that game I felt for Matt Marquardt, man. Having to shake Patrick Waugh's hand for the second time after losing a Memorial Cup. That hurts. It stings. I was hoping he would finally get that championship, but at the same time, you cheer for your league.
Mm-hmm.
If it was the Mooseheads, I would have been all on board, for Seattle. But you got to cheer for Quebec, and it's good. Davis Cooper from Hannon's Plains. His family was out there. They don't know what Davis Cooper's family doesn't know if they're going home to a house that's still above ground or burnt down. So it's nice that he's going to bring the cup home to Hannon's Plains to really boost up the community.
Yeah, it was quite an effort, and like I said off the top, 4 titles in a row. Now 2 didn't happen because of COVID, so let's just assume it's 5 of 6 straight years, because Moncton would have won in 2020. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah,
and
asterisk.
Who knows? I mean, Victoriaville was good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they built their team to win the President's Cup. I don't know if they built them to win a Memorial Cup because they knew there was going to be no Memorial Cup. Yeah. So that would be the outlier. But, I mean, it's no longer the weak sister. And they've had nothing but success since I moved here. You're welcome. Because I was on my way out here in 2018 when Bathurst won in Regina. But I saw a lot on the social media. Like, the Q is the weak sister, and you won a tournament, big deal. Like, you're not developing NHL stars. Mm-hmm. Well, you're still developing really good hockey players, and just because they don't go to the NHL doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going somewhere at the next level. Look at the dominance of UNB. Mm-hmm. Those are mostly, or the what's that school that's orange now that Gravel plays at? Trois-Rivières?
UQTR.
Yeah, UQTR. Like, they're getting up there. UPI is getting better. SMU, like, all these schools are becoming better for having great Q players.
Yep, and that's the way you develop. There's always a career in hockey after junior. Yeah, you can play 4 years at university, and then an NHL team loves you to death, and you're getting signed to an entry level contract, or you're getting picked up by a team overseas, and you're getting $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year to play pro hockey in Germany or Switzerland or England or wherever it may be.
Well, Ren in 2019, Dobson goes on to the NHL.
Yeah,
Harvey Pinard plays a couple years university. Now he's in the ECHL.
Yeah, he's scoring goals in the NHL.
Yeah,
too.
And then there's one other Bebo. I think no. Who's the coach in the Q?
Felix Bebo?
Yeah, Felix Bebo. 3 great players on a Memorial Cup team that take 3 different paths in hockey and are all being very successul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bebo is behind the bench in Chicoutimi.
Chicoutimi, that's where it is. Yeah.
And we're going to be getting to Chicoutimi here in a little bit, because they've
the QMJHL Chicoutimi draft.
If you thought there was going to be a splash with the draft, well, Chicoutimi is going to cause a tsunami here. And, that's we'll get to that here in a bit.
Yep, absolutely. The other bit of news: Wildcats' schedule came out. Speaking of taking a nice trip to Cape Breton, the Wildcats will open the season in Cape Breton on Friday, Saturday, September 22nd, 23rd.
There we go.
Yeah, so could be a Wildcats podcast road trip to Sydney there. The home openers against
Make
Halifax.
sure you clean your toilet, Pat.
Yeah. The home opener is September 30th against Halifax. They got Val-d'Or, Rouyn-Noranda, and Gatineau in November. The Sherbrooke, Quebec, Shawinigan trip is December. So they kind of get that Val-d'Or one in November, where could go either way. I know last year they went in October when the weather was nice for that long trip.
Geez, first week of November in Val-d'Or and Rouyn-Noranda, probably 50 centimeters of snow on the ground by then.
Yeah, quite possibly. A little weird that Baie-Comeau, after that 7-game series, it was kind of like Edmonton and Calgary. They had that glorious series, and then they played 3 times before December, and then they were done. Mm-hmm. We don't get to see Baie-Comeau until February, and no, not even the end of February. We get them twice in February, but both teams are going to look a little bit different going into the season, but they could look completely different after the trade deadline. So it kind of sucks that we don't get to see them here after that at that Game 7 victory. But and then they got Baie-Comeau, Chicoutimi, and Drummondville. They always have that nice Quebec trip around my birthday, so maybe I'll convince my wife to go on a 3-game road trip.
There you go. Get the Booster Club.
There we go.
Okay.
So hopefully we get up some Booster Club things, and maybe we'll get a Wildcast road trip going.
Season opener. I'll be up for that on a Friday or Saturday.
Yeah. Even if we get a bus, Charlottetown on October 14th. Nice bus trip.
When's that, on a Saturday?
Yep.
Ooh, Charlottetown on a Saturday night.
Yep.
Oh.
Put a bus trip together for that. And then, like I said, season tickets are out as well. We didn't get into this last week. We'll quickly get into it. Remember that time they said the Kubota tickets were going to be included in your season tickets?
Oh, was that the Top Prospects game?
Yeah, they're included for $34. So all tickets have gone up $34, which means the actual walk-up ticket price will probably be about $41 to $45 because you get a deal as a season ticket holder.
Basically, they're just
upping the price, including the game.
by $1 per game.
Yeah.
Right, because is there 34 home games?
Yeah.
So it's $1 per game.
So I thought, given the world the way it is and you're competing with people's grocery money, they might keep the tickets the way they are and actually include the game, but they also have to make money. I understand that. Now, I was going to come on and rip them for not doing things on season renewals.
But
ironically, now, for those that follow us on our social medias, no, I promote the other teams doing other things, like the Eagles. You could win your season seats. The Isles had 6 priority draws. Chicoutimi, this isn't a Chicoutimi show, I promise. You could win a 65-inch TV, a $250 gift card at their store, a trip to the bus. Preseason games are free. I was like, Moncton needs to do something. Purchase your season tickets now. And again, they're not telling us to say this, but you have a chance to win 2 tickets. Where is that email? 2 tickets to Shania Twain. So if you get your tickets, renew your tickets by June 12th at noon. So next week at noon, you are a chance to win a pair of tickets.
So if you were doing your tickets by June 12th at noon, you have a chance to win a pair of tickets to
4 lucky
Shania
fans.
Twain, eh?
Yep.
Well, that's something else, man. It's like they listen to you, but they don't say it directly.
I've been telling them to put something together.
Yeah.
Because
really, at the end of the day, that don't impress me much.
That's true. Now, the actual benefits are what bother me more. If you look at the benefits from now till I bought my season tickets 4 years ago, it's been the same benefits. 20% ticket pricing savings. No wasted tickets. 15% at the Roar store. Cool. But what about a season ticket holder? If I was doing this and this was my idea for what I would do, prices are what they are. You get a season ticket holder gift, whatever it is, something small. I know they used to give out watches, whatever. That's something small. A monthly draw for a dressing room tour. An open Saturday practice where you get to go watch the team practice on a Saturday morning. Access to preseason games should be included in your season tickets. That's your fan base that is generally going to your preseason games. A jersey off our back night. That'd be kind of cool. Maybe a town hall event, any team event, like we talked about a little while ago. It's been the same over and over. 6 complimentary game day programs. Are you kidding me? I give you $600. I don't even get a free program for every game. And enough with the paper. Just
make it digital.
Make a digital game day thing. A digital game day program. 12 double your chances 50-50, or you could just give me 34 of them, since I gave you a lot of money for season tickets. It's been the same benefits forever, and it's just, I'm so glad they finally did a Shania Twain thing, and they kind of finally listened to an idea I had, but we're working at it. We're getting it slowly, but this isn't what this show is about. This the draft, some mock drafts. So let's get to our special guest.
View from the other bench.
All right, so we're pleased to have back again. We got him out of the baseball stadiums into the hockey rinks for the Q draft. We're pleased to be joined by play-by-play voice of the Blainville Boisbriand Armada, who we feel the draft starts with. Cedric Blaudin, how are you tonight on this 3 days before the draft?
I am really good. It's finally. It's been a few weeks since the playoffs ended for the Armada, so finally getting to know what's happening on draft day on Saturday and know who the player is going to be picked at 3 overall for the Armada if they are picking, but I think they will. But finally, it's going to be the earlier in the draft that the Armada picks since they moved to Montreal to Blainville. Sorry about that, but so happy, so hyped up for this draft.
So that kind of leads into my first question, and Jeremy and I talked about it the last 2 drafts where we've been talking about the draft, and we both kind of feel that Blainville is where the draft starts. You got Moncton, everyone's picking Noego there, Guite second to Chicoutimi, and those are the consensus number 2 picks. And Blainville's picking 3rd. I mentioned, I think 2 shows ago, this could be a spot where maybe Blainville moves out and gets more picks to build this. Is that a sense you get in the building?
I don't think so, because the Armada have 3 first picks, 3 second rounders. So I really doubt that they move down. They pick. They're supposed to. I saw Jeremy Fraser text earlier this month saying that they will get one of the picks that Cape Breton gets from Chicoutimi as a compensation for I don't understand exactly the details, but they will the Armada will trade back Cape Breton's first rounder 2024 going back there for one of the picks. So I think they're going to pick at least 3 times in the first round, so I doubt they will trade back. I'm pretty sure they're going to pick number 3.
Okay.
If you look at the Armada roster, at that 3rd overall pick, what do you see as the organizational need that you think would be addressed with that pick?
Defense.
I think it kind of
defense. If it was up to me, I'll say defense. Because I know there's a player down there near from here who plays in Saint Eustache, defenseman Alex Wong, who's a really good skater, and I saw him play a few times this year. But there's a few question marks around his defensive game, so I'm not sure it will fit, but there's a fit if he wants to be here, and I kind of think he will. But Mike, I think they will pick from offense, mostly forward, and but for me, defense is the priority number 1. But they can do that with the 2 other first rounders later in the first round, and they have 3 second rounders. So I think they are going to pick the best player available at 3, and after that they should go with at least 1 or 2 defensemen late in the first round.
Just looking at the preseason roster quick, and it's only got 2 goalies named on the preseason roster, which are Gravel and Sheehan. And I always like to talk about the goaltenders. It's no surprise to anyone when we have anyone on, but there's a couple in Lassell and Malosh, I think it is, with 3 first-round picks and even an early second round. You see a goaltender in there? Are they good with sticking with Gravel and Sheehan again as a tandem this season?
I don't think Sheehan will be back. I know he is on the roster but I doubt he will be back as an overager, because Gravel is going to be the first goalie. He won't bring back a second goalie as an overager.
Oh, okay.
And he did well at some times, but a lot of up and downs, and I have the feeling that he won't be back. So I expect expect the Armada to pick a goalie in the first 2 rounds because there's one that they picked last year, Anthony Savoie. He's from Moncton, I think. He got called up once last year, and I'm not sure he's ready to play in the queue if I saw his stats. But I have a feeling the Armada will take one goalie in the first two rounds. I won't be surprised if it happens because they had a lot of success picking the early rounds with the goalies, like Gravel, like they did with him, and I kind of hope that they bring another top goalie to be ready after Gravel leaves after his junior career.
Mm-hmm. I've always looked at, if I was a general manager and I had
can I just add something in that?
For sure.
I just since the Armada arrived in Blainville, they had the goalies one after the other. They had Etienne Marcoux. After that, they had Samuel Montembeault. After that, they had Francis Leclerc that played a bit with the Wildcats. They had, after that, Emile Sanson, and name it. They had a few goalies like that, one after another, that had the chance to play at the high level. And that's why I expect that, because Montembeault was not the first goalie in his first 2 years. It took some time before he got that place. So I expect the Armada preparing that second goalie to be ready at 18 years old after Gravel leaves.
Yeah. I guess if I put my GM hat on, maybe this is... You can disagree with me if you want, but if I see a team that's got 3 first-round picks, I would probably approach it with 1 forward, 1 defenseman, 1 goalie.
It depends on who's available at these picks.
That's it, right? You've got to go with your scouts are the ones that know these players the best, and they'll tell you, well, you've got to take this player because he's the best available player on the board. It's what else do you see?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
It's hard to say because it looks like it's wide open after the top 2 picks.
That's
so
it.
I'm pretty sure. I have the feeling it's going to be a forward at 3, but it can be a defenseman, like I said, because there's one who's from here. He has a good high-end talent, but there's some question marks. Looks like, but I think that would be what I will do if I was a GM too, pick a D-man, and depending if the goalie is still available later in the first round, let's go. Let's take a goalie. But you have a lot of picks in the first 2 and first 3 rounds, so you need to be able to block these holes in your lineup. And when you see the lineup for next year, there's a few, and now we can look at it and know where the team's going to be competitive, and it's easier now to see it. So it's a big question. I'm with you with this. I think the Armada needs to pick a goalie, pick a D-man, and maybe 2 D-men, depending how the first round goes. But we'll see. I really doubt they will pick more than 1 forward in the first round because they're loaded. They are loaded at forward right now for next year. I think they are already around 12 or 13 forwards. If I see the preseason, 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, they have 12 right now. Mm-hmm. And there's a few young guys like Vincent Desjardins who played well with the team. Well, as a call-up, he was one of the top scorers. He's a second rounder last year. There's Elliot Okonowski, who was traded in the Alexis Gendron trade, who I expect to be in the lineup next year. So if you count that, that's 14 forwards. That's a lot. And they should be not be a lot more than that. So we'll see. There's still Ravinsky, so that makes 11. But like I said, you just have to know what's the best for the young players if they are able to be in the lineup next year. But it's hard to say right now.
If you look at the, where Blainville finished last year, 7th in the Western Conference, where do you see them finishing? How do you see the Western Conference looking going into next season? Because you got to think Victoriaville
in the conference or in the league.
You can look at both. I mean, you've got to look with all the talks out there right now. You look at Victoriaville; they're going to be making some moves. Rouyn-Noranda is making some moves. Drummondville's making some moves. Where do you think?
Without looking at the standings and the teams, I'd say mid-pack for both. Because if you look at the roster, if I just look at the team, I think this team's going to be progressing a lot around Christmas next year. I don't think the team will sell. I think that this team can be good in 24, 25 and be really good in 25, 26 in 3 years. So, and I think there's young players like Carbonneau. Fauchon's going to be at 19, Wessel at 18, Burke at 18. And I think this team can be mid-pack and surprise some teams next year because it's been the trademark for the Armada since they've been in Blainville to be able to surprise a lot of people with not a lot of big names. But we'll see. We'll see. I see them making a jump for sure. I don't think this team's going to be less good than this year because they had just one overager who played 0 game in the queue in Fontaine, but now they will have 3. I hope so, and they should be able to be mid-pack. And I don't think teams like Rouyn-Noranda, we know Rouyn-Noranda should get really good with the rumors that been going on, but Victoriaville is going to be good too. Drummondville is going to be good. So I think they can finish around 4 or 5 in the West, maybe 6, depending on injuries, but it's going to be a step and be much closer than what it was this year.
So final one for me, because obviously you're quite busy. This team this season had a lot of expectations going into the year with Eagles legend Josh Lawrence and Patrick Gay, and that didn't really go the way that a lot of the fans thought. And then it was kind of okay, we're going to retool this thing on the fly, and now you have the 3rd overall pick and 3 first-round picks. And just kind of I know this is going to shock you, but I'm not on the French boards. But what are the expectations from fans and the excitement level going into this draft, rebuilding this thing and having a few picks to kind of rebuild this thing the right way?
I'll give you my answer about that because maybe I'm not even sure if it's the same feeling for the fans, but I think it's finally they do it the right way. I don't know if you understand what I say.
Yep.
The Armada never picked earlier than a 7th overall pick in the draft. So you can't be a contender if you don't have top 3 picks in your team. We say Xavier Parent was 4th, I think Samuel Poulain, Jacob Pelletier, Lafreniere, name it. There's a lot of players picked in the top 3 or top 4. You need these players to be able to be that good because these players makes the difference when you get to the top. Lheureux is another example. So I can name them a lot of them, but I think finally they do it the right way. The Armada never want to do a rebuild since they've been there. They tried in 18 after the final against Batters, but they didn't have the first pick for 3 years. So it's hard to rebuild without a first pick and without assets.
Yeah.
So finally they can draft. I think they did very well last year in the draft. The Italian is going to be really good. He got hurt a bit this year. He didn't play a lot, but he is a big man. He's going to be really good for the Armada for a long time. So you just need to do that. And I think when the results going to come, everyone's going to understand because it's hard for the fans to understand what's junior hockey until they see it.
Yeah.
To see a rebuild, you see in first hand and to understand. So some they are like that. just holding hands. Why are we not good? But they are used to be good for 10 years, and now they're not.
Yeah.
So they don't understand that you have to trade some Tourigny, some Pinard, some big names, Gendron this year, Lawrence, when the things were not going as well as they were hoping for. Or last year, nobody was understanding why they traded Zachary Roy to Charlottetown.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, at the draft, we understand why the GM did that, because he was receiving Patrick Gay at the draft. So sometimes that's junior stuff, and there's not a lot of people around here who are understanding that, but I think now they do a bit more.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time. I know that you had a lot going on yesterday. Just, maybe talk about what the Armada talked about and rolled out on their social media on Tuesday.
Yeah, it was a big day, big conference, press conference, because there's a new ownership joining the team. So I know everyone should have heard about it by now. So it's a big conference, and I think there's good things going with the team. There should be some improvements to the Centre d'Excellence Sport Rousseau, who is a arena who's not going well, not a good attendance in the last few years, and they need to be up to date, if I can say so. There's after a few rough years, not knowing what the team would be, I think these news coming on Tuesday, just really good news. And for me, as I work for this team, it gets me hyped up for the next few years, knowing that everything's going well right now.
Yeah, and the more teams we can have with stable ownership just is better for the Q, and especially in a larger market like the Montreal area. So, it's a great announcement that came out yesterday. So,
and the good news is that it's people from around Blainville. So these news kind of stops all the rumors of some I don't know how to say it in English, moving. The Armada moving away, but with the new owners, not new owners, because Québécois stays, Joël Bouchard stays, but they have new actionnaires.
Auctioneers,
maybe you can help me about that.
Sellers and auctioneers and stuff like that.
Yeah, so new people joining the groups. So and they are from here. So I know there's some improvements, like I said, and I don't think Blainville, who's the town that owns this CESR, would do that if the team was going to move out.
Perfect. That means we can make one more trip not one more, make a trip to Blainville.
You should. And if you do, just tell me. But we're gonna see each other on Saturday for sure.
We are gonna see each other on Saturday. That's absolutely
finally.
Yeah. We're gonna see a lot of people that we've actually had the privilege of having us join the show. So it'll be pretty cool.
When are you guys traveling?
So we leave Friday morning. We were hoping to get there for the press conference at noon on Friday, but logistically it just isn't going to work because we have real jobs that we have to be at all the time. But yeah, we're going to leave Friday, get to Sherbrooke mid-afternoon, have our live Friday night, and then Saturday morning we're going to be there. And we were there in 2019 in the stands, but we're just pumped to see it from a different view of on the floor. I'm sure it's a whirlwind on the floor.
Yeah, I will be there on maybe Friday night. I talked to a friend, maybe who is going to be hosting me on Friday night, but I will arrive really late because I have a supper on Friday. But for sure, Saturday all day. It's draft day, big day for the Moncton Wildcats, big day for the Blainville Boisbriand Armada and a few teams, maybe the Chicoutimi Saguenay too.
Yeah.
So
apparently it's a big day for them too.
Have a big buzzy day, and happy to talk with you guys down there. And if you need me, just let me know.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll be the two goons at the very last table with our webcam talking about the first round. But yeah, no, thanks for joining us, man. We're excited to finally meet you and get to another live in-person draft. It's been too long.
Exactly. Finally. Thank you, guys.
No, thank you, Cedric. Yeah, it's good to have the team with a stable ownership. B, it'll just be so good to finally meet these people we've talked to.
Yeah, you're right. It's like they're, right now it's like phone dating.
Yeah.
But we're finally going to get to meet in person, which is, I think, probably the most, probably the funnest thing about this whole experience is, getting ready to really put a face to the voices, right?
Yep, we've had a few years of people gracing us with the, allowing us to have them on our show and, being courteous to us. And now we get to meet these people and they get to meet us. They get to see the voices, the faces behind the voices, other than when they subscribe and watch on YouTube. All right, you want to get into why everyone's here?
Yeah, mock draft time.
Let's do it.
The Q Draft Preview on the Wildcast Podcast.
I was going to make a graphic last week for that, just to, like I make for every other drop. And then I saw your face going. And I was like, I'm not making a graphic for one week next week because it was too good to have. So, we have the mock draft. It's our annual mock draft. I went back and looked. We had 2 names correct, Jeremy.
Nice.
Yeah, we had Thomas Lavoie and Gabriel Dag.
Awesome.
Yeah, we were not quite there. We had Poirier going to Chicoutimi. We had Lantier going to Baie-Comeau. He went to Blainville. Quinn Kennedy to Halifax. Adam Fortier-Gendron to Blainville, which, again, we don't have trades in this. So, again, this mock draft, like Stephen Turcotte said, people doing mock drafts, get ready for some fun. This is, by the time you hear this, depending when you hear it, all these picks could be completely different. But we're going to go with the draft order that there is. We are going to talk about this as a possibility for a trade. And we're just going to try to not steamroll through this thing, but kind of move through this thing with some efficiency. So with 64% of the vote, sir, you have the first overall pick. The Moncton Wildcats are on the clock.
We'll like to thank all the fans watching at home on the CHL app. Like to thank everybody in Sherbrooke here for the warm welcome. I'd also like to congratulate the Quebec Ramparts on their Gilles Courteau Trophy and also their Memorial Cup victory. And with the first pick, the Moncton Wildcats are pleased to select from St. Hyacinthe, Caleb Desnoyers.
I'm not going to lie. I wondered if that was going to be the pick. Because we
was,
kind of talked about it.
There was
it's
some
the
discussions.
Consensus, but
Yeah.
in the back of our minds, there's a player that is out there that we think. And it's going to involve some deals to get.
Yeah, and I think what Cedric mentioned is the reason why I had to kind of back off a little bit and focus more on the best player available. Because he, of course, has been the top prospect on every ranking except for our friends at Puck Preps.
Nice. All right, so the number 2 pick goes to Chicoutimi, which will be a theme throughout this whole draft. The actual draft on Saturday when you get to. So everything he said about the Quebec Rempart and the Memorial Cup, and thank you to host Sherbrooke. Chicoutimi Saguenay are proud to select from Saint Hassan forward Emile Goutet.
Goutet. Okay.
So the teammates go 1-2, and I wonder when was the last time teammates went 1-2 in the draft.
And I wonder if these will be the only 2 we get right in this entire draft, like last year.
And it might not even be the only 2. So third is Blainville. Now I wondered if this was maybe a spot. Now this was before a lot of rumors come out that Chicoutimi was moving all over the board.
Yeah.
That maybe Chicoutimi would be a spot to have 2-3, but we'll stick with Blainville unless you actually think they're going to trade this one.
I think they'll keep it. If it's like Cedric said, new ownership, they'll want to be able to make a splash here. And this is where it starts.
Yeah,
this is where it starts.
This is where the draft starts.
So with the third pick, the Blainville Boisbriand Armada select Matteo Nobert from the Lac Saint Louis Lions. The scouting report that just came out today. En français, it says that he is, I got to find the link here. It was sent to me. I say it right here. Un cerveau sur deux pattes, which basically means a brain on two skates, which can only tell you that his hockey IQ is off the charts.
Yeah. And when I put my actual mock draft together, which was quite difficult to put a mock draft together, knowing I was going to do the even numbers, and I'm like, well, who's Jeremy going to take, and who will fall?
Mm-hmm.
Going through the scouting reports, that's what I read. Is he was just kind of smart, hockey IQ. So yeah, all right. Well, I had him going to Rimouski at 5 in my mock. Where'd you have him going? In yours?
In my original one, I had him 5th to Rimouski.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the phone's ringing off the hook.
Yes.
If it already hasn't been moved by the time you hear this. Now, there are quite a bit of rumors that this is Shikunumi's pick at
Correct.
4.
Yeah.
So if that is correct, then good for them. I'm still going to take the player that... Oh, man, if it's Shikunumi, that changes things. But Valdor... They don't allow the defenseman to fall any farther, and they take Alex Wang, which means he probably won't report, but they're still going to take him in hopes of...
So the talk, yes, this pick is going to be Shikudumi's.
Yeah.
They are acquiring the 4th pick, along with goaltender Mathis Fernandez from Valdor in exchange for
85 draft picks.
7 draft picks. So yes, this pick will actually belong to Shikudumi on draft day. And
I still think it'll be Alex Wang at Shikunumi.
It's possible. I think they'll take either Wang or LeConte, or they're going to have the 5th pick too, apparently. So if they don't, whoever they pick at 4, they'll just go out and get the next player at 5. And
that's in my mock, I had LeConte.
Mm-hmm.
LeConte going to Valdor here. But I mean, when you're doing a mock draft, if a guy doesn't go where you think he goes and he's available at 4, you take him because you have the chance. So that puts you on the board with Rimouski, who again, not sure they're going to have this pick.
Mm-hmm. Again, it's rumored to be going to Shikudumi, which would give them 2nd, 4th, and 5th.
Can they put a whole St. Tyson line together? Oh no, they wouldn't have done way. Never mind.
Yeah.
Hey, keep going.
Yeah. So let's. You picked Wang, so I guess with the 5th pick, Shikudumi selects Nathan LeConte, which would give them 2 very good forwards and 1 very good defenseman.
And a goaltender.
And a goaltender.
And a pretty good goaltender. So that means, again, Drummondville is on the board at 6.
Mm-hmm.
In this mock draft, they will not be on the board. It's 6 in the
Rumored
actual
to be
draft.
going to Sherbrooke
for
Ethan Gauthier.
But again, this pick was, when I put this down, it was for Sherbrooke, not Drummondville.
Mm-hmm.
It's Philippe Veilleux.
Nice.
The forward.
Good pick.
Big
Good
forward.
solid pick.
Yep. So I think he's, they're going to need to replace scoring on that team. So he's my pick to go to Drummondville or Sherbrooke.
Awesome. Next up, I believe is the Shawinigan Cataracts. And I am almost positive they will be keeping this pick.
Finally.
And going with somewhat of a local product from Trois-Rivières, Sean Carrier.
Hey, that's what I had in my mock draft,
There you go. Yeah, not bad.
I'm
We
getting better
are
at
on the roll here.
Yeah.
Next up for Adam is the
So
Cape Breton
Eagles.
no longer Screaming Eagles.
No, the Cape Breton Eagles, which this pick is rumored to be on the board. Do you see it moving the way the draft? If the way the draft has fallen, do you see it moving or?
No, depends where how things go.
Right.
It's possible, but I think they'll hang on to it.
Okay. It's easier for them to attract players they know, players in their backyard.
Mm-hmm.
They went with Lavoie last year, big physical defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
They go another defenseman again to kind of pair 2 young defensemen in their rebuild. So I'm going with from the week's majors, Owen Conrad, defenseman.
Solid choice.
Yeah.
Solid choice. I'll give.
I wanted to go Chandler, but I just thought you're gonna pair 2 defensemen. You go get defense. You know, you can get a forward, but to get an actual good defenseman that grows with the team and Lavoie, that's a pretty good top pair.
And that's because Conrad's a left shot, Lavoie's a right shot, which will give them two huge, big-bodied defensemen to build around in the future. Next up, I believe, is the Jacquard de Baie-Comeau.
Yes.
And this year, who will will report to Baie-Comeau?
Who will report to Baie-Comeau?
That is from Saint-Eustache, Olivier Lampron.
Okay. Yep. Good call. Good call. He was my 10th to Rinderenda.
Mm-hmm.
Because my 9th, who I'm now going to take at 10, which I believe this will probably end up with Quebec or Chicoutimi via.
Who is this now?
So this will be Rinderenda.
This will be Chicoutimi, because they were acquiring the 10th pick for Andre Lauschko, but I believe this 10th pick will actually be going to either Val-d'Or or Rimouski for 4 or 5. So this pick at the on draft day will either belong to Val-d'Or or Rimouski.
All right. So either way.
One of the two.
Yeah. I forgot that Rinderenda was going to make this deal, so I felt really good about taking a Maritime kid in Rinderenda in a Chandler. But if it's Val-d'Or that keeps it, oh, man. It's Val-d'Or that keeps it. It's 3 good defensemen back-to-back-to-back on my mock draft. But I'm going to go, well, that's the tough part of it's Val-d'Or. It's really hard to get these guys to, the USA guys to.
Follow your best player available, Adam.
Best player available. But we always talk about there could be someone who kind of moves up the board. I'm going to go Olivier Groux. I'm going to go forward, give him a defenseman and a forward, because they're going to have multiple picks in this.
A little off the board.
Yeah, well, 10 spots, but 10 on the board. Yeah, Olivier Groux.
Right. So that was the 10th pick.
Yep.
And the 11th pick is Chicoutimi, which probably they won't have it.
Yep.
Oh, excuse me. Let's go with defenseman Jonathan Prudhomme.
Nice.
Oh, excuse me. Saba Chicoutimi at 11.
And Chicoutimi at 12.
Chicoutimi at 12. This would be yours.
This would be mine. And they're going to go back-to-back defensemen. They're going to go Louis Alex Tremblay from SSF.
Ooh. Back-to-back defenseman? You think?
That's what I had. I had him going to get a
Okay,
forward. Go to get a forward. Go to get 2 defensemen. And then I believe they had 4 picks. And then I went and got a forward at 16.
Okay. All right. So this leaves me with Moncton at
Moncton
13.
At 13.
So after
again,
taking...
This might not be a pick that
That's correct.
Moncton has.
Yep. There's a lot of talks out there. So you've got Desnoyers at first. You probably want to go with a defenseman, but at the same time, I've been told that if you want defensemen in the draft, you can get solid options in the later rounds.
But you do like, with your GM hat on, to go 1-1-1 when a team has multiple picks. Now,
That's
they're
true.
not going to go goaltending because they have a really tough time developing high-end goaltending.
That's correct.
But you go get your second forward and then maybe a defenseman at the end, or you get the defenseman here and the forward
well,
at the
you
end.
know what? If Cole Chandler is still on the board,
All right, yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and take Cole Chandler here at 13, which would be an absolute steal based on if he's still available.
He was my will report to Baie-Comeau at 9 if Baie-Comeau still owned 9, which would be tough to report to Baie-Comeau. Drummondville, which this will probably be the Gauthier deal with Sherbrooke, right? They're going to get 2 firsts on this?
I would assume so. Yeah.
All right. So I gave him the forward. Drummondville / Sherbrooke gave him Bayou. Who did I have here? Liam Kilfoyle.
Kilfoyle.
Yeah.
Going with the NCAA guy.
NCAA
Okay.
guy. Yeah.
So you got this was
14. This was Drummondville / Sherbrooke.
Sherbrooke. Okay. That's
So that leaves you Victoriaville.
Victoriaville, which again, don't believe they'll be making this selection.
This one would go to Gatineau, correct?
Possibly.
Reported.
There's also talks of Tristan Luneau and Gabrielle Dag being a 1-for-1. And people are actually saying that's a fair deal. So we will see. However,
I guess, yeah. Depending what your impact is, but yeah.
15th overall. I think this player, in terms of points, will be the highest point-producing player out of this entire draft class. That's a forward from the Collège Notre-Dame, Louis-François Bélanger. I think he's going to be a Jordan Dumais type player, which just puts up ridiculous numbers by the time he's 18 years old.
Fun fact, when I did my mock draft, he was penciled into 18 in Moncton, and I worked around it to get him there.
I can't. He's just too damn good.
Yeah. So if this is Shikunomi's 4th pick of the draft, or 4th pick of the draft, because they did it last year, they'll do it again this year. They take Zach Moran from Detroit Little Caesars U15.
So is this the 16th pick?
Yep.
Because you cannot take a. So if he doesn't report, they don't get another one.
Oh, is this that rule that
you can't comp a comp.
Okay, this is
You can't get compensation for compensation. So if he doesn't report, then they won't get the compensation next year.
Okay, I thought for some reason 11 and 12 are their comps. You still think they risk it? Probably not then, eh?
I doubt it.
Yeah,
I also think this pick's traded.
Yeah.
Right?
This one
Again, it's either going to be Valdor or Rimouski.
Or Rimouski. Yeah, so if he's not there, Valdor or... If it's Valdor, so I'm going to put him here. It's going to be the first goaltender off the board. It's going to be LaSalle from Lac St. Louis.
Okay.
Now, I know they don't... It's always tough. No, I'm not writing Lac St. Louis. LaSalle.
LSL.
Valdor,
LaSalle from LSL.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a chance to go there, play behind Fernandez, or not take over from Fernandez and have a pretty good tandem there with possibly Ruggiero if he's part of the deal. But it gives him a pretty good goaltending tandem moving forward. There's a lot of talk LaSalle might not be the first goaltender off the board.
Correct.
But he's been top 10, top 15, depending where you look. So it kind of fits where he's been, so I'll take him there.
And they say that once one goalie goes off the board, they start to fall as well. Yeah. So the next pick was Blainville. I will take Samuel Meloche.
Nice. Perfect. So that puts me at Moncton. I get to make a Moncton selection. And I wrote 2 names down and 2 notes.
Remember, Adam, you don't win championships with Maritime players.
And I'm not taking one. I'm taking a big-bodied center from Collège Notre Dame, Elliot Dubé.
Ooh, I like that pick, actually.
Now,
I really like that pick.
If the player that I talked about last week, and you had brought up, there was 2, Gendron and Collard. If it's Collard, I still would like Dubé because that gives you 4 natural centers. You allowed Denway to play on the wing and eventually move into that spot. But, yeah, I was going through some of the notes, and I remembered you say Elliot Dubé was one of your guys that kind of would maybe move up the board a little bit. And looking at his scouting reports and stuff, big body center, 6 foot, 162, skates well, distributes the puck. That's my pick at 18th if Moncton has that selection.
Cool. This leaves me at 19, Rouyn-Noranda. This apparently will be going to Gatineau for Antonin Véro. So with the 19th pick, Rougnaranda / Gatineau selects Zach Wheeler.
He is a first-round technical pick. Yeah, that's where I had him, Zach Wheeler to run around just because, like you said, they have success with Maritime players, so that's... I think he'll have success in Gatineau.
Yeah. Rebuilding team.
Yeah.
Probably get some big minutes.
Yeah. So that puts me at 20 with Rimouski, which...
There's a very high-rated defenseman that's still on the board here, Adam. I
Is he
just
the-
noticed I haven't taken him yet.
Is he the 23rd rated defenseman? On the... From
So you
Bishop
look-
Kearney?
Nope.
No?
We passed over a defenseman. I can't believe we did it.
Oh, we did too.
Yeah. Nope.
Oh, really?
Nope.
What defenseman did we pass over?
We passed over a defenseman, and I cannot believe we did it. I don't think we took him.
Okay.
10. Yep.
Isn't he potentially reporting? Isn't he got NCAA?
He was at the QMJHL Cup playing.
All right, well, we passed up on him. Rimouski / Moncton, Bacomo, someone, Chicoutimi, apparently they're just getting all the picks. If Rimouski has this, Moncton has it, Valdor has it. I don't know who's going to have it. Last pick of the draft, Xavier Villeneuve.
From the Pittsburgh Penguins Elite.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I saw that yesterday. I don't even think I took him yesterday in my mock because I saw the Pittsburgh Elite and thought he was an NCAA guy because I got him and Veilleux mixed up. I thought one of them was going NCAA and I thought it was Xavier Villeneuve. So yeah, how do you feel about our? I think
I think there's a few players we have slotted in the right spot.
yes, potentially not the right team, but I think the number we're gonna get right.
Yep. And that's not just the first and second. I think we could get as many as six right on this board.
Yeah. All right. So 20 picks. Obviously, the overall over/under is 10. How many do we get right before Saturday's draft? We'll put that poll up on Instagram and Twitter. So recapping Moncton's picks, if they stay this, you've got Denway, Chandler, and Elliot Dubé. That's two forwards and a defenseman.
Yep.
If that is how this board falls, how do you feel?
I feel pretty good. You know, I think there's going to be a lot of movement, so it's really tough to really predict where players will go and what spot they're going to. And for the love of God, I just hope all these deals are done by Saturday morning. Because if they're not, man, we're sitting at that rink for.
Hopefully the trades are faster at the building when the GMs are on the floor, as opposed to making phone calls. But yeah.
I think they'll be done before, just so the board's cleaned up a little bit better, and maybe we do it again Friday night. Mock draft 2.0.
Well, and that's what I said. Like, should we hold off and do the mock draft live on our YouTube tonight, or I if that's how that falls, and I know it still could fall that way even if we make trades and whatnot. But you get Denway 6'1", 163.
Mm-hmm.
You got Owen Conrad 6'2", 193, and then you get Dubé 6 foot 162. Like, and you had Gabe Smith last year with his size, and Collard, I think he's like 6'1". Moncton's doing a good job of getting size on the back end. So, I feel we probably, if we're gonna hit 6, it's gonna be 6 in the first 12, because I think once you get 13 to 20, it's gonna be a lot of movement and a lot of guys that are gonna go off the board, and so yeah, 2 goaltenders, which I don't think a lot of people had, but I feel good about our picks. I think we did way better this year.
I hope so.
We were both somewhat. Well, you're always prepared, but I was at least a little bit more prepared as we get in. But yeah, that'll do it for the mock draft. That'll do it for the show. This is not the final pre-draft episode. We are live on YouTube Friday at 9:30. It won't be very long, but it'll be very fun. A less drunk Jeremy. Probably less drunk Jeremy. So we're going to be live on YouTube. Meeting Roundtable. Jamie Tozer, Pat McNeil joining us live in Sherbrooke. Mavs Gillis hopefully going to join us on the YouTube on the Friday night. And then the draft is Saturday. We are going to be on our YouTube for round 1. Hopefully not for 4 hours if all these picks go through. But we will be there walking you through the picks, some of the scenarios. Jeremy giving his expert analysis as we go through not only Moncton's potentially 3, 2, or 7 picks if they make more moves. We'll be there for everyone. And again, all the draft coverage is presented by Alpha's Appliance Solutions, the biggest Maytag dealer east of Montreal. They've got the Maytag Dependable Savings Event right now. Save $200 when you purchase 2 qualifying Maytag kitchen appliances, $300 when you purchase 3 or more as well. They service what they sell. They've got their own service department, their own parts department. And if you do want to get a steal of a deal in the month of June, from June 1st to 21st, it's like $20 in the Moncton area. And they take out your old stuff, they put in the new stuff. They're great guys. They've got a great thing going, obviously. So we've got a great thing going. They've got a great thing going. Let's have a great time in Sherbrooke. I'm just pumped to get there. I don't know how much concentration I'm going to have on work for the next 2 days. But yeah, follow us on all our social medias for the draft. For Jeremy, for me, have a good night.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Wildcast Podcast. Follow us on social media at Moncton Wildcast.